Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart for Kim Kardashian. And I am giving readings right now for only $50, just like this one, specifically with evolutionary astrology, or learning about our life path. And for this one, I want to focus on a couple things specifically. And that would be the number one thing I want to focus on is this Mercury squaring the nodes of the moon. We see the nodes of the moon there. The north node in Leo, the south node in Aquarius, and then Mercury at 19 degrees, making a 90 degree, almost exact 90 degree square between the nodes. And this Mercury, well, since we're going to start there, let's continue here with Mercury. It's also conjunct Uranus and making a semi-sextile, which is 30 degrees to Neptune. It's making a trine to the moon down there in Pisces. It's making a semi-sextile to Pluto and a sextile to that Jupiter-Venus in Virgo. So I want to read this about Mercury in, Mercury squaring the nodes can be, let me read it here. So I have this snippet here from an evolutionary astrology meeting. And it says Mercury or planet in the third house Gemini or the sixth house Virgo has unresolved issues rooted on being extremely rigid, critical in your thinking process, or having a very hyperactive, restless mind with little grounding to discern the loads of information you are taking in. So this could be any of these things. It could be all of these things. It could be different times in the life. Here we have there could be unresolved trauma from being persecuted for speaking your truth, being persecuted for being ahead of the game, being persecuted for your genius. You could have been lied to or tricked, or you could have been the one lying or tricking others. Internalized guilt, shame, constant nag of not feeling good enough. Mega worrier, communication issues, feeling like you don't have a voice, not feeling smart enough, showing off how you are brainy and you are being the intellectual expert, or always being Mr. and Mrs. Right. So let's keep that there for a reference, because these are the main things that Kim Kardashian is going to be dealing with in her life, despite what the media says or what it seems like, which I might get into a little bit, what seems like she's dealing with externally. This is more what she's dealing with internally. And you can see that, as I mentioned, the aspects to Mercury, some of the other things that go along with this, so we can see in the chart, is the south node, where she's coming from in Aquarius. Aquarius has Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. So there's that. And a couple of things that, and of course the Uranus, the ruler, is conjunct that Mercury as well. But a couple of things that were mentioned here that had to do with that Mercury and Aquarius is the being persecuted for being ahead of the game. And a lot of people that will have this Mercury stuff will have ideas about the future, about what could be, what should be. And many people around them will not want to listen, will not understand. More likely than not, they will never understand. And one of the things that these people can do is to have patience, to learn more about this situation, which I'm not going to get into in this video. But just because we have these ideas about what could be, Aquarius has to do with idealism, what could be, what should be, doesn't mean that it is actually a reality. So this person could go through that in their life. They could go through this situation where they have this period of crisis, Mercury, where, oh wow, the world could be a lot different, or my life could be a lot different, only if. Or I can see how my life would be different. And we see this here that she has Neptune in the first house. Of course, she's a TV personality, but Neptune in the first house there in Sagittarius, conjunct the rising. This is a person who has an imagination. Often these people will have strong imaginations, which some people would say is causing, which I'm going to get into, causing these issues, because they have such strong imagination and they can envision things being different. And then we can come here to the back to this Mercury and see Virgo. She doesn't have any Gemini. Gemini's down here in the 7th house cusp, but she has Jupiter and Venus and the MC there in Virgo. The Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so Jupiter, Venus there in Virgo. And coming back to this here, unresolved issues rooted on being extremely rigid and critical in your thinking process, having a hyperactive mind. So all this Virgo stuff, this person could be very critical and very rigid in their thinking, which can cause a lot of problems in their life because many other people around them wouldn't be the same. They're not going to be not as rigid or critical, and this person can be perceived as an overthinker. Mega worrier. These are the issues that this person would have to deal with in the life, that they may perceive as being okay, or as being, what they want is true, what they want, or the way they think is right, because to them, they are dealing with these issues, these Virgo issues of being a mega worrier. Always trying to plan out the future, thinking about the future, getting every detail correct instead of going with the flow. Which is a whole nother issue I'm not going to get into at this moment. But I guess I could say that then it goes into this back and forth between, I should just go with the flow, and I'm going to overthink this and overanalyze everything, which is going to stop me from going with the flow. And it's hard to find a balance of that in between the two. And just to mention that, to make things worse, that this person has Gemini on the 7th house cusp, and we know that Kanye West is a Gemini. So, as I said, to make things worse, that to throw in a person, who's she going to relate to? The 7th house here. Who's she going to find herself around? Geminis, people that are very mercurial themselves. So to make matters worse, we're adding more Mercury when she's interfacing with other people by having Gemini here on the 7th house cusp. And you can see the ruler, of course, comes back to this Mercury with Uranus, and this is going to be more people that have these Uranian ideals. And you think of Kanye West. Kanye West is like the ultimate Aquarius person in the things that I mentioned. He's went way, way down the rabbit hole of idealism. So, and of course, because he's Kanye West, he can get away with that. So there's that. And then we have this Mercury. And you often see this with people too, or I've seen this. This Mercury is an exact sextile to Venus. You often see this Mercury Venus in the chart, Mercury Moon. I've seen Mercury Venus a lot, especially the conjunction, where these people are going to have these Mercury issues that I've mentioned. Now I want to get into this something else here with these nodes, these two nodes and this Mercury square, and I don't think I need to mention them. Some of the issues that she's had with these Leo issues, these Leo Aquarius issues, where maybe this is a person as well who wants to really put herself out there as a Leo North Node in the 8th, as a sex symbol. Maybe not so much as just being a sex symbol, but really not being ashamed of her sexuality, because obviously Kim Kardashian would be perceived as a more attractive woman, or more of a Scorpio type woman, I would say all around, internally, externally. And we see the sun Pluto as well there. Pluto rules Scorpio, the sun rules Leo. It's the ruler of that North Node in the 8th. And with the Mercury, Uranus squaring the nodes, we think of Uranus and Aquarius as being different. Somebody, putting themselves out there on the internet, thinking differently. And this could be a person who's dealing with that, this drive or this really desire to, at the very least, be positive about all these things and want to express herself the way she wants to, especially when it's not harming anyone. This is going to rub people the wrong way, of course, because there's a lot of people that think that these things are immoral, when in reality they're not. So there's that. And she would be dealing, you can see all the Mercury stuff with the Virgo, she would be dealing with these thoughts. I want to do this and I want to do that, and I don't know if I should because people are saying this, etc., etc. And then the parents, could be issues with the parents, all this 10th house stuff. So maybe it's not the public, maybe it's issues with, what are my parents going to think? How can I liberate myself from this conditioning? You even see the sun there. The sun in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Oftentimes we think of Venus, the liberated Venus, Lilith. I'm not going to get into Lilith, but all these things coming to the consciousness. And what is she going to do about it? That is the dilemma here with this Mercury squaring the nodes with the North Node in the 8th. South Node in the 2nd. Think of Taurus, the 2nd house, as being afraid to, this person wouldn't necessarily be afraid, but, as I said here, afraid to speak your truth. But this person would be going maybe back and forth between, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to say something, I'm going to do something, being very slow to do that, and then maybe doing it, and then coming back. We think of like doing something like a sex tape is something like that. Going to put this out there, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get exposed for it, and then I'm going to go back to my 2nd house hole and hide. So there's that. And the last thing I want to speak about here is the communication issues, the taking in tons of information and not really knowing the truth, discerning loads of information, but then at the same time, Sagittarius rising, being this I know better, I'm right, Jupiter on the right there on the 10th house cusp. Dealing with these issues through the life, really thinking that you know better, that you're right. Learning these issues of relativity. That truth may be relative. And this person might have a hard time with that because at times in the life, Aquarius, they know that truth is not relative, that there's absolute truth in the end. Pisces, moon in Pisces. However, the reality of the people that she's dealing with, they believe that their truth is relative. So there could be phases of that. So you can read this here. You can see some of the some more of the issues. Also, one more thing I will say that of course there's issues with the children. North Node in the 8th in Leo, the 8th Scorpio. We see Mercury, Uranus squaring those nodes as well. That they're in Scorpio. The issues with custody issues. Issues with the children and the you think of the marriages, 8th house, merging, divorces, those kind of issues as well that are going to be difficult to resolve in the life, especially with this moon here as well. She is, as I said, the mega warrior, the moon on the 4th being in a very strong position in Pisces. This is going to be someone who has strong maternal instincts. And it doesn't help that she is a mega warrior. So, thanks for watching and have a great day.